Welcome to Dwarven Forge Live. This is our celebration of gaming reliquaries panel, ostensibly about Magic the Gathering, but really it was just kind of an excuse to get three really awesome people together on the air so we could hang out for an hour, which is what we're gonna do.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Yeah.
I am Nate. Joining the studio over here in the battle station is Chris, the invisible voice of reason from.
Yeah, you probably won't see me tonight. We have too many other people to show.
And we have three awesome guests here, Jimmy, Michael, and Becca. Do you guys want to, so actually before you introduce yourselves, we're going to hang out and chat gaming for an hour. We're going to have a giveaway roughly around the halfway point, and we're going to be out at 7 o'clock. Is there anything else we need to know?
What's being given away today on the show?
$50 of Pledge Manager credit to our current Kickstarter reliquaries.
How's that track with you, Jimmy?
That sounds great. Can't wait to reward some people with some stuff.
Well, just one people, but okay.
Person.
Yeah.
They can share.
No, they can't. No sharing allowed.
With the other people in their household they can share.
Exactly.
There it goes. Easy.
That's fair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else that we need to know before we get crazy?
I will be watching and taking questions.
Yeah.
I'll be writing them down. We probably won't answer the questions until near the end, just so that we can get through the beginning topics and all that. But if you ask a question, just put question at the front of it to make sure I notice it, and I will see all of them. Don't worry, and we will get to them near the end.
And if you really want it read aloud, just say question and then give a statement.
Right.
Like,
But
most
put a question
questions at public Q&As.
Pay for text to speech.
So do you guys want to give us? You want to introduce yourselves and give your quick elevator pitch? Yeah. Right, I'm putting you on the spot. Well, Becca, you go last.
first,
Jimmy,
go.
you want to? I'm going
No.
in. Which way?
Oh.
Which way am I? There.
I'll go first. This is a typical thing in TTRPG streams. No one does anything, and then I just hop in. So I'll make a fool of myself first, and then we'll pass it along. All right. So Michael Sinclair II. I'm a professional TTRPG performer. I also am a semi-magic personality. So I play lots of Magic in my spare time, and that's mostly me. That's the gig.
I like TTRPG performer.
It is.
That's
It's a performance.
Yeah. No, it's like the perfect
TRPG.
encapsulation.
I got to call myself a
It's sit-down
performer when I was in an
acting.
improv group, so like, if that's okay.
That's fair. All right, who wants to? Let's go next.
I'll go.
Go, Becca.
What's up, everybody? I'm Becca Scott. I am a TTRPG performer. Magic the Gathering personality, sure, I guess. I don't get to play nearly as much Magic as I want because I've been playing a bunch of Dungeons and Dragons and or Call of Cthulhu, and I do a bunch of tabletop board game tutorials on my YouTube channel, Good Times Society. It's also a Twitch channel, and tonight is the start of a 4-parter D&D game that I'm only running tech for. It's going to be magnificent. That's going to be on twitch.tv/goodtimesociety, and that's why I told you guys I had to go at a certain time, because I'll be getting ready for that. So come on over. It's called Claw and Hoarder Fantasy Victims Unit.
Ooh,
Is-
that's a sweet name.
Is it relaxing to run tech? Is that going to be a vacation?
I find it deeply satisfying. If I'm only doing one thing at a time, I get antsy.
Is that Good
Fair.
Times Society where the times is plural, or is that are there two S's next to each
Just
other?
time, because 2 S's in a row upsets me. Yeah.
Understandable.
Fair.
Yeah.
Nice. I am Jimmy Wong. I am a professional content creator on the internet. I've done stuff for a good game called Magic the Gathering. I've done lots of different things in the TTRPG world, not as much publicly. I have guested on some podcasts here and there, and I'm also an actor and host in the LA area. I've worked with Becca and Michael now, very luckily, and it's been a pleasure to be able to be friends with all of them in a professional and a gaming sense.
Wait, have you ever played in a streamed D&D game? Stream.
Yes, I have actually. I did with Ashlyn Rose
Oh.
and Jordan Pridgeon back in the day. It was like a Ravnica themed D&D adventure.
I was gonna say, is if you hadn't,
This
then
makes
we'll
sense.
like, well, come on, we'll have to make a game just for you.
Oh, nice. So that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, we're dying for the zombie apocalypse to die down a little and have some people physically in here into the Dwarvenport studios to come play on our terrain.
I would love to. Your stats look pretty cool from that opening, so.
We are incredibly lucky to be toy makers, right? we're professional toy makers. Like we make the grown-up toys that we always wanted as kids, and somehow managed to make a living on it. So it's like, it's the greatest thing.
We can relate.
Yeah, pretty good.
Right? This is living the dream across the board.
dream.
So our excuse for getting you guys on was we have a Kickstarter running currently called Reliquaries, and one of we made cool places to hold your dice, because turns out dice are like a pivotal part of gaming, right? There's so much riding on those twists and turns. They betray you. They come through in the end at those moments. It's the seat of honor. But we made a special one that was for tracking abilities at the table, but also as we were developing, because we have a very heavy concentration of Magic players here in the office, we also realized it could be a neat tracker for playing Magic. So you want to do the close-up cam voice reason. So this is our ability tracker with this counter dial. So you can, if you want in the analog way, it's going to have a little clicky thing so it doesn't like wander off, so your life total doesn't drop from 20 to 1 accidentally. But you can track 1 to 20. Other side, you flip it over so you can start at 40 for your commander games, and you can track your commander attacks on the top with the little die. Yeah,
or you could just have it say 1 the whole time because you are number 1.
Woo!
Facts.
There it
That could be
is.
the whole time.
It could just be your ranking, your status.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. Or you could put, you could track whatever. We have a bottom thing so you can put your a plaque that says your D&D abilities, your spell slots, or your rage, or your whatever. You can track all sorts of stuff. But we specifically made this dial because we wanted to have tactile ways to track in Magic, because we play a bunch of Magic around here because it's fun.
Yeah, like everybody in the office plays. We do like office-wide drafts and everything. And so it's nice to finally be able to do something for Magic.
Yeah. So this is exciting. So this is the excuse. This was the vehicle to get 3 people that are vaguely related to Magic. Well, not vaguely related, but it was a common thread. So speaking of, that will bring us into our we're going to talk about gaming, starting with Magic, whoever. So we're going to start with the hard-hitting question, which is, what is the greatest strategy game in the world, and why is it Magic? No.
Ooh, geez,
but you can answer that too if you want. But more I was interested in, like, we're coming up on like the 30-year anniversary of Magic, right? It's 92, 93. Who knows the
93. We're almost on the 30-year anniversary. The 25 was like 2 years ago.
Yeah, so we're inches away, right? So
Oh my god, I'm older than Magic.
it's a how is it? Why is this game lasted this long? Like this is a phenomenon. Like this is right. It's pretty amazing that something can latch on and have this sort of longevity. And it feels like it's getting stronger and larger than ever, right? It's growing in momentum, the same as D&D. It's like, how did this happen? How did we get here?
I would argue it's growing faster than D&D, and it's bigger than D&D.
Yes.
D&D is like the second step. The first step is like, oh, board like Settlers of Catan, and then you start going a little deeper and a little. Actually, sorry, the first step is like Apples to Oranges, or whatever that game was that everyone played in college.
Apples to apples.
Apples to
We
Apples.
don't. We can't talk about that.
It
It
Cards
hurts
Against
me.
Humanity. Apples.
That hurts me too. Sorry.
That's like level 0, right? And then
Yeah.
you start getting deeper. I think D&D is like level 4 or 5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then Magic might be like level 3.
Can I throw out something that's real, like uppity?
Ooh,
Okay, I
hit me,
was
hit me.
listening to Alan Watts the other day, who is this incredible, philosopher from the 40s primarily, and he was saying that there is this spectrum of gaming, like dice are too much chance and luck, and chess is 100% strategy and no luck, and people are looking for and expecting something that's like looking for something that is satisfying because it is the intersection of those. And I think Magic falls on the perfect place in the scale where it's activating the strategic part of your brain. And also you got to top deck something sweet.
Oh yeah.
True.
Yeah. I was watching a stream with Gabriel Nassif, commonly known as Yellow Hat, and he was speaking about the same thing of chess is being really strategic. All the moves are kind of like predetermined in a sense. And then he relayed the other side to like poker, where it's like a little bit more random, but Magic's kind of like that perfect medium of there's randomness, but there's also strategy. So just adding on to Becca's point, 100%, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely newer. I'm not. I love that Chris said I'm older than Magic. You always have been. This is not new.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
You're old. Nothing changed. You were 5 years old, and you were older than Magic. Anyway, I'm definitely more of a newbie than Jimmy and Michael. I mean, I've been playing since Arena Beta came out, and just got deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole since then. But when I give the hard pitch to friends that I'm like, you should play Magic though, because like you should play Magic, and I like to describe every format. Like there is every kind of Magic you could want. You just like cracking packs and looking at pretty pictures, you got that. You like drafting because you like the even playing field, you got that. Standard, okay, I'm never gonna give the hard pitch to a new player that they should play Standard, but
Agreed.
and then of course Jimmy can speak to Commander more than anybody.
What, the way that you should not begin playing Magic, which is Commander, but everyone is now making it the way you begin playing Magic? Yeah.
I don't know. The decks that on the episode where I got to come on your show, Game Nights, I brought those same Adventures in the Forgotten Realms precons on vacation and made my friends that had never played Magic before play with those decks. And those were not easy to learn on decks, but they were into it. And I was like, oh, you can teach anybody Magic with any kind of cards. Doesn't matter. Like, honestly, if you're teaching them on the most basic, like doesn't even have any text, mono red deck, they're not going to get why they should be in love with it in the same way.
That's true. That's a good point.
That's how I taught my 5-year-old though.
Well, that's different. Yes, there's an age limit. Yeah.
I put stickers, like little symbols to like indicate, because you can't read. So it's like stickers to indicate what everything does, so you could get the mechanics, and just like, and then he memorizes it and whatever. It's ridiculous. Like,
it's adorable.
But did your friends play since? Have they, like, since you dropped them into Commander, like the deep end with Commander? Have they played since that?
Are you judging them? Are you gatekeeping them? No, but they will.
Okay. It was a good experience. Like they're
I don't think
like,
that they have.
Did you let them keep the decks?
Of course not. No.
Okay.
I have not been playing Magic long enough to be a generous Magic player. I'm like the hoarding of cards kind of Magic player, because I only have like one entire closet full.
Just one.
Just one. Yeah, I'm saying like low end.
Right. Yeah.
I guess I think for me the thing that's, I feel like playing Magic is the closest I could ever become to being a wandering martial arts master, where you can kind of, you can play and then you can come off wherever and you can come back, and anytime you can kind of like wander into a game and it's like, oh, I recognize that style, but there's it's a new version of that, or there's these sort of these archetypes and these things that you recognize in these bits, and you're like, oh, I see what our strategy is, but there's a new twist on it, whatever, and you're punching and counter punching, but it's it's kind of the same dance, but it always evolves, so you can always come back to it, and it's for a moment I feel like a master when I figure out a thing, and then they kill me.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's end the show there, because that's all I got.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. We gotta go watch some kung fu movies now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Magic has managed to survive for almost 30 years, which is just, it's not like flourish. One of the things that I'm impressed by is the passion. I mean, I don't know, Jimmy, you've met them, but I haven't met any of the people that actually make Magic. But it certainly seems like from the outside that they are incredibly passionate.
Make Magic.
Right? Like they're in like 100, like a bazillion %, right? Obsessed.
Yeah, certainly. I think people that work for Magic will happily take that job over, one that seems better on paper because they love the game so much. That has been, I think, a pretty commonly known thing across the community, that people apply for this job and they apply to be a part of it in any shape or form because of their passion for the game above all else.
When you can feel it, right? There's just this thing, and the thing that impresses me, I mean, there's tons of things that impress me about it, but the amount of world building that has gone into a card game is outrageous, right? From concept art to building entire worlds and gods and guilds and schools of magic, like just endless like world building. So they recently, right, Wizards got this brilliant idea, let's cross the streams, right? They went against the advice to cross the streams, and they crossed the streams, and I think it's worked. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but they did the Theros book, and they did the Ravnica book, and they did the Strixhaven book comes out. I think it's bumped back to anywhere, wherever. Have you guys?
Shout out.
What?
Sorry, I have for Roll20Con. I'm playing the Strixhaven. There's a live stream game with some incredible players: Abria Yangar, Brennan Lee Mulligan, and Mika Burton.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
That's like.
Sorry, you were asking a question and I jumped in.
Are you electrified from that? Like that's gonna be. Well, my question is, does it? Do you think? I don't know how. Do you think people? Are people excited that the Magic worlds are being that this world building is actually getting rolled out to D&D?
I think so. I can only speak to like personal like stories, but I work at a local game store here in Spokane called Uncle's, and I get a whole bunch of people who come in who were like, oh, I've only been a D&D player. That set looks really interesting. I want to get a couple cards because my friends have them and they look really interesting, and I want to just get some of the art. And so like some of them are just getting in because of the art, or they're like, let's finally figure out what this like Magic the Gathering thing is, because they've had friends that are so close, like the levels of separation are so small. So they've been getting into it. And kind of add on to your point earlier, and why Magic's like so successful and continuing to grow, is that not only is the strategy and luck come into a part of it, I believe Magic over the years, because if you look at like really old Magic, I don't think you see this reflected, but like as it's progressed, they add a lot of like personality and character that people can kind of attach themselves into, like the guilds you were speaking, and Strixhaven schools and certain colors and certain play styles. Like I'm commonly like saying Rakdos gang gang, because like that's just like
Hell yeah.
the thing I love and I attach myself to. Like in real life, I'm pretty like, calm and like low key and stuff like that. Jamie's out.
He's out. Yeah, you said Rakdos, and he's like, no.
He's coming back to his DVD. He's like, no,
I was trying to hit unmute, but I hit video.
But yeah, so I get to kind of be this other kind of have my other personality like shine when I play like the certain guild Rakdos. So I think that's all those things add to the success.
Show your logo on your sweatshirt. It's relevant.
We got the D&D and Planeswalker symbol just all together.
Because I feel like the bunch of the the grognards kind of grumbled that there's these Magic settings being put out in D&D, but I don't know. I don't have any insight into it other than I think it's exciting that they're just creating. They've done so much work putting these worlds out. Why not put it in a book and get it out there so people can go play in that world? And it's like, do you guys has it been? Do you know if people are excited about it? Like, have you played? Has anybody played? You said somebody played in Ravnica. Who was?
Jimmy. I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Anybody played in Theros? Has it played
I ran a Theros one shot on Jasper's game day, so I did that.
Nice.
I kind of homebrewed Croxa and Uro into the game, and it was like really cool to kind of see people having to go against that and recognize the abilities, but D&D-ified.
Mm-hmm. I think that there is that thing of familiarity breeds liking a thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And of course, like it makes sense for them to, save on a little R&D world building, but that's the real reason is that like we've created something that people like, and like my favorite franchises, I want to live in them. I want everything to do with them. I want to go back over and over. And so if I can play both my games in the world, that is really fun for me, and I get to really dig in and know it better before the next thing comes out and I have to learn that. I want to dig into the new one here. So I'm all about it. I want to play more Strixhaven.
Yeah.
Right? If you can make a Star Wars video game, why can't you make a Magic RPG?
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Jimmy? Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No. I was just thinking about what they're saying, and I agree.
And the worlds are so much aligned. Like it was stupid they weren't doing this already. Like the spells cross over specifically and practically.
Mm-hmm. And then Planeswalkers too. Like they just complete, like you have plane shift in D&D, so which was a thing that they did to approach Planeswalkers in the D&D set. So it's like they were meant to kind of jam together,
Well, it's all the same fun fantasy stew layered up, and there are cool Magic worlds. Like they've done, they've done a lot of really clever world building. So
shout out to Will of the Council saying I do not mind getting my D&D chocolate and my MTG peanut butter.
Yes, right.
I saw that. Yeah.
Congrats, you made Nutella.
And you have decks of cards you go through for NPCs and for ideas. Like there's so much stuff to draw from there. Like I don't know.
Work smarter, not harder.
One of our graphic artists, Letitia, is in the chat right now, and she said that she started getting really into drawing and painting by copying magic decks that her mom would find when she cleaned out hotel rooms, saying the artwork is like gorgeous. Which is one like an incredible like. Here's the thing though, like I get that because my mom started a apartment cleaning business. That's like what I grew up with, and yeah, she would like bring back like Game Boy games and stuff that people would just leave in their apartment sometimes. So like I totally get that. Sometimes you just find like some cool stuff that people leave behind when they move out. But I guess the art probably does like a ton of the lifting for getting people into Magic, huh?
Yeah, I heard somewhere that Magic commissions like single-handedly like 70% of all fantasy art that's created every year. And that number may be even higher now that D&D is a part of it as well. But I'd say like of all the Magic events and the hosted things I've done, I've been able to interact with artists and art directors like Cynthia Shepherd the most, and I'd say they make such a crucial part of this entire thing work. And it's really awesome to see them do their thing because it's just incredible how much art they make. So
I mean, it's hundreds and hundreds of pieces per set. And there's like what 4 sets a year plus all the extra commander sets and I don't know.
And now they have extra showcase arts, they have alternate arts, they have special release sets like the Strixhaven Mystical Archive. So it's really impressive just how much art they're able to commission and keep it fresh and new every single time. I think that is by far the most impressive aspect of Magic to me, outside of the actual R&D part of it too, which is I think another big reason why the game still exists to the height that it does.
And one more thing we're kind of dancing around, it's just the value in society for people to get able to create art and get paid for it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Especially because to the point about finding magic cards in a hotel room or finding other things while cleaning, like there is the price point that is prohibitive of every kid getting their hands on this, and that's beautiful of like finding it in different ways. That story was really nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. I was also like, what's the backstory on this? Like, was there like a old Magic tournament that took place in some hotel like area, and then like people left their cards, so like, you know,
maybe it was like those intro starter decks you get at conventions that not everyone takes with them.
Fair, yeah.
Well, it got her started though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty amazing. One of the artists that we work with, Crystal Sully, was like her goal has been to work on Magic cards. Like that was like her, kind of one of her end goals as a fantasy artist. And she just got hired. She's working on, like literally as we speak, she's working on something. She can't talk about what it is. But she published in Fizzbands. So she did art for D&D and now she's doing art for Magic. And that's like, she's like, I did it. She's like, I got like the thing that I was trying to do. And that is to your point, Becca, like it's a huge, like it's such a payoff to have your work on a card, physical thing that people are buying and excited about it. Like it's pretty amazing what it's done for the artist community across the board.
Yeah. So far, it's the one thing robots can't do instead of us, or better than us.
Yet.
Yeah, I said yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like almost all the new people I end up following on Twitter and Instagram are associated with Magic art or some type of thing. Because that's just a much happier place for me to be when I'm watching stuff online. It's just to see beautiful art from artists instead of doom scrolling or whatever else is up there.
Yeah, and I also like all the how, speaking into what Jimmy said earlier, how they're branching out into different art styles and art forms. Like they're not just like restricting kind of, Magic's been this way for how long, or like this art style has been like D&D-esque or like fantasy-esque. They're like breaking out of the mold. And like one of my actual new favorite cards is the Faithless Looting from Mystical Archives.
No, you monster. You monster.
I have a playmat. I got a playmat.
Controversial.
But
the Mystic Archive is awesome, right? It opened up a whole new style. They could open up a whole bunch of new artists to do something, and like it's really it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, they've been doing that for a while now, which is just like heavily themed art that's also like super Japanese. So they had like the anime Planeswalkers a couple of years ago. And I remember back when I first started playing, there was like a premium on art like on cards in Japanese, just because it just looked cooler. So having the entire art style that's now around that as well in certain sets and releases, I think is just awesome.
It's pretty
Until you borrow Joe Johnson's deck and you yell across the table because he's in a different game, what does this card do?
Oh,
And
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
that's your counter spell.
Oh, nice.
Oops.
Oh, that's great.
So, have any of you guys ever have you ever made anybody play Magic in a D&D game? As like a game within a game?
This is a pitch that I was working on and realized it was going to be way too hard to combine these things.
That'd be sick.
Right.
Yeah,
Because that's always the thing. Like they always have like game sets and stuff in D&D. Like what is
You
like
go into the
3 Dragon
tavern
Ante and
and
stuff like that.
like
But just like make them actually
Like
have
Gwent
game
and
rules.
Witcher.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
That is
Yeah.
right, which they made
Gwent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was a LARP that I played years ago where one of the guys that ran events was super obsessed with Magic, and so he had to bring out this big NPC, and he's like, anybody that can beat me will get like 100 gold or whatever. And he had his like Magic deck there, and he was saying play, and they had to like outlaw it after that event. They had to outlaw playing Magic because everybody was just like lining up to try and like play Magic with this guy. Nobody was like fighting. Like it was all these people like sitting around in armor and swords, like just like hunched over this game as they're like slinging spells in the. It was like, yeah, it got out of control.
Oh yeah. I tried working. A game designer kind of reached out and asked if like how would I go about doing this if I wanted to like have some magic happening during a D&D game. And I tried to help him break it down, but I think it's a little bit complicated when it gets to like forming the two because they kind of have different approaches, and so I think at some point it can happen for sure, but it's something that I think there are some game designers who are out there trying to figure out and try and get them going together. So.
Honestly, I'm of the opinion that D&D is already two games smashed together.
That's true.
One is combat and one is roleplay, and they
That's
are
true.
two separate things.
I mean, you can't. I do be liking the combat RP though. Those.
Oh
are,
yeah, I do my best, but like sometimes you're power gaming and you forget your fun accent.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm not the power gamer.
you switched into combat mode and you forgot to like put it back into fun RP mode. It's like, it is a fun mashup. Do you guys so with the last 18 months or however long we've been in this pandemic, I haven't played D&D. I've played D&D in person twice, at Thanksgiving and at Christmas with them. I don't know, when I've managed to get together with my family safely. But I've been playing a lot of online D&D. Like we set up Vorpal board, you could do Zoom games or whatever. I've been actually playing more D&D because of online, and I'm assuming the same same as had happened with Magic. I can't imagine what the spike on like Arena is probably like through the roof and whatever. But do you guys think is it like will it go back like when at some point we're on the other side of this? Do you think people crave the physical, like is it better to play in person, or do you think they're like, you know what, I can do like 10 drafts tonight on Arena, I'd rather do that rather than go down to the game store and play one draft in that same amount of time or whatever?
I think so much depends on what your group is, because if I was able to get 7 of my best friends together to run the draft, I would do that over almost anything. Like those are some of my favorite memories from Magic. Obviously there's a lot of players around here in LA, so it's not hard to get a play group together. So I think that also makes a big difference too. But I think Spell Table and having all of those resources around are really important for people that just don't have, an awesome play group by them. And that's like a great way for them to get involved and play fun games without having to worry too much about, the quality of the game as well.
And I think people are really excited and really wanting to get back into stores and stuff. Like I was at not the LGS I work at, but another LGS, they're getting Modern going again. And I love grinding. I'm like a grinder in some aspects. People know I play Commander, but I also like grinding. And so, people were just having a good time and just really happy. You can tell like it was a different sort of Magic of like, of course you're playing competitively, but people aren't just like real hard about, winning. It was just like people were enjoying the spirit of competition, enjoying being able to be around other people. And then we've had people like Channel Fireball and the Hunter Burton Memorial tournaments are coming back, and Magic players surprisingly are very like good about, we really want to play Magic, we're going to put our mask on, we're going to have the vaccinations, XYZ, like and so you already see people who are kind of really hungering to go back and play some social Magic. And Arena's great, online's great, but I think it's supplemental.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if you if you need to get your fix, you go grind on Arena. And if you need the social interaction, it's nice to be able to have spell table, but you can't have a little like side convo in Zoom because only one person can speak at a time. That's just how the technology is limited right now. And like you need that interaction at the table and just seeing people in person and getting to, destroy them and or however you play Magic. It's so much more satisfying in person. So yeah, it's been good to get the opportunity to do that now that things are a little more open. People are inviting people out for Commander. It was needed. I didn't know how much I needed that in my life because I didn't play much Commander before COVID. But so good.
There's I don't know what the magic about being in person is, but it's like I don't know. I wish I could figure out why it's so like amazing to be in the same room with a bunch of people and do the thing. But
I think there's just a part of us that just kind of needs to be around people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's like a lot of intricacies to the way that we communicate. Not all of it is verbal, and I think when you're starved of like those small, like subtle like facial cues and like body movements, like you're missing part of like how humans interact.
Well, that's it, right? Like, playing an Arena, you don't hear somebody laugh or swear or sweat that thing or whatever.
Bad BM good games is all you get from.
And I mute those anyway.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, when we came back from when we were in here last year for Wildlands, the first time I was back in the studio with a few other people, I was just I was in the other room, build room, doing something alone, and I heard the sound of laughter come from the other room from, I don't know who it was, Toby and or something, but it was like, it like blew my mind. Like that sound of human laughter that I heard my family and whatever, I've been in that little bubble, but it was like.
And you started crying.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's like
I ran out there and I was like, oh, you guys, I missed you.
It's like a scene where it's like, Papa, what's that noise? And it's like, it's laughter, my child.
Child, what day is it?
What is that? Yeah. Do you think
humans
there's some way
to
social
creatures, so.
What's that?
Humans are naturally social creatures, so.
Yeah. We are. I wish there was a way to
Magic and D&D players less so, but yeah.
They just have less experience in how to be social, but we're still in, the first thing we do when we are born is stare into our mother or father's face, right? And like we need to have interaction with another human in order to get the cues, in order to like grow and know how to interact in this world. So it's built into us genetically, from the beginning that we need to interact with other people.
Jimmy, you're not supposed to make us cry on this. This is a lighthearted stream.
Okay, I've been meaning to talk to you about a few things, and this is one of those, and I just wanted to let you...
Be more human?
No, not that. Oh my god.
Jimmy, what are the other things?
There are so many others, young Padawan.
Tell us the other things. We should do our giveaway. We're at the.
Humans also naturally are born to want free stuff.
Oh yeah, that's built in.
Who's got a secret word? Well, it won't be a secret once you say it. So
I was gonna say.
Michael, you had one earlier.
Yeah, Michael had one.
Oh, yep.
But...
just go with Wooburg.
Wooburg? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to know how to spell it though.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to,
that's the challenge.
I guess you'll probably find out from other people.
You sure will.
No. W-U.
W-U.
Yeah.
You know that Wooper is like an actual.
No. Wooburg. W.
It is
Oh,
5
Wooburg.
letters
I thought you said
representing...
Wooper. I was thinking Pokemon.
It's an acronym for the 5 colors.
Yeah, we're talking about Wooper.
Oh, all right.
W.
But there's only one vowel. There you go.
There you go.
Someone got in
it.
chat. Will the council got
Bill's in charge.
Will's in charge.
Wooburg.
Wooburg.
There we go.
People are just
All right, so WUBRG. What we're giving away is $50 of Pledge Manager credit for the Kickstarter that's currently running, which I think will get you more than the ability tracker.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, the ability tracker is under 50.
Shipping plus I don't know.
If you're in the EU, it might cover the shipping. It might cover the ability tracker exactly because shipping to the EU is hard. But Anybody is eligible for this, just type WUBRG. Commerce Team is asking what WUBRG means, and that is apparently the acronym for the 5 colors in Magic.
Yes.
White, blue, black, red, green, and U for blue because B was taken by black.
Yep. The better color, obviously.
Oh.
That's why it gets it first.
Rakdos person alerts.
All day.
I identify with Rakdos, I would say.
All right.
Here. Yeah, I'm with
Rakdos gang. Love
I
it.
mean, I played Rakdos a bunch on game night, so I like it too.
See,
Like a
it's-
bunch.
you. Kill things and burn things and bring them back to life.
Red, that's all
do it
that
again.
matters.
So, Michael, you were telling me that you saw the Black Lotus out in public.
I did not see this.
Oh.
It was a story that obviously was it Hunter Pence, the baseball player. He had a slab of the Black Lotus around like a gold chain, and he's a baseball player, I think former baseball player. And he went to a baseball game, I assume either his former team or someone he knew, and he was out there hanging with people. And he had a Black Lotus as a chain, and people were asking him like, "What's that?" You know, and he would let them know. And a reporter, I think, who played Magic, saw it and like kind of got like a 10-second interview of like, "Why are you wearing Black Lotus as like your chain or whatever?"
I mean, if I had
People
Black
wear
Lotus,
less
I'd wear it on a
expensive
gold.
bling all the time.
True.
True.
You ready to go? So we're waiting for people to throw in their the secret word WUBRG in chat. Do you guys have it as a bunch of content creators? Do you have any advice for the many content creators that we have watching this channel? If you were going to give them one piece of advice on what how to I don't know, whatever advice you want to impart from having from doing this.
I guess I can go.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
people. Sure. I'm just used to this. Every TTRPG, everyone's just like, and I'm like, I'll do the thing. I'll throw myself in the fire.
You're the first guy to kick open the door and get burned by the dragon. That's what you-
That's right. That's me. It do be me. So people ask me how I got into everything that I'm doing, and honestly, it's just trying to be inclusive, trying to bring more people into something that I love, trying to give people other tips and tricks of like how to and how to do that themselves, of like how do I get more people to my table, how do I get more people to play Magic with me, and also like promoting other, like not promoting but like lifting other people with you. And I think that's truly the only way like I've gotten to where I've been, is just reaching out on social media, being authentic about it, and really just wanting to express all your joy and passion about the game to other people, and being respectful. I think that's the only thing that I've actually really been doing. I haven't like, this is like my clout, like my clout like graph, and I'm trying to like go up it and figure things out. I'm just like, let me just hang out with like cool people, let me get more people into things I love, try and lower the barriers of entry for other people, try and do things like that. And that's the thing that's worked for me. So I don't know how Becca and Jimmy has gone for their experience, but that's what's been working and what's I've done up to this point. So
And
Well,
always
that's
play
the
Rakdos.
best answer. Yeah,
I know.
that's beautiful. So, okay, I'll go because Jimmy's always, he likes to hold up the rear, the ranger.
That's right.
I was just gonna say, like, take your magic cards and D&D books and run for the hills and throw your computer out the window, and then you'll never have to stress about it.
Sure.
That's one option. Or you could just be very addicted to work, as every content creator I know is. Those are your two options. No, you just have to put in time. If you want to build up for people to actually care what you're saying, you got to put in a lot of time and dedicate basically every free moment into doing that thing you do. And then you'll get good at that thing you do because you put so many hours into doing that thing you do. That's the advice.
That thing you do.
And also my favorite Tom Hanks movie, and only Tom Hanks movie that he wrote and directed. Yeah.
You're full of fun facts.
That song
Yeah,
is
that's a fun
wild.
fact.
You get your 10,000 hours in by doing it, which also is getting you your fans, and yeah.
The fact that like they made that song and it was supposed to be like a parody of like catchy pop songs, but it's like just authentically actually like a really good it's so good.
Yeah, that movie holds up.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Jimmy, do you have any advice for?
Nope. No.
Nope.
No. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't come
Love
for me.
So good.
There's only one Jimmy Wong. Can't be you. Goodbye.
Yeah.
No, let me think about this. I don't know. I mean, like, I think content creation, that whole term, it's very broad. It's very it covers a lot of categories, and I think like the big thing about that I've learned being an actor and stuff in LA for so long is that you might not be like a lot of people come here to be an actor, and that isn't what they end up being over a course of time.
Yeah.
Also, hands up for you, Becca, for that same thing. Yeah, like you start being like, I'm gonna be an actor, and then after like 3 years, you're like, I don't know if I can be an actor.
You can if you pay for your own shit. I mean, stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of content creation for me has always been about asking yourself like hard questions, which is like, do I want to actually do this thing, or did I like the idea of doing it? And I think
Yeah.
content creation is a lot of the same thing too. You should ask yourself, do I really want to be a content creator, or is this just something that I thought was like really cool? I saw a lot of people doing online, but I actually don't want to do the amount of work or whatever is required to do it. So I would say, like, if you're looking to get into content, ask yourself what part of it you want to do the most. Maybe you're a behind-the-scenes kind of person, or maybe you're the one that wants to be in front of the camera. Whatever that is, work on that and focus on that and learn from the people around you. What Michael says is really important. Collaborate with people. Like, put in the work, put in the hours. Those are all really important. At the end of the day, like, there's a lot of people that are trying to do the same thing. So make sure that if you're going to be doing it, you're really passionate about that exact thing that you're doing, so that you can make it through the tough storms. You can weather the harder times and the days when you feel like you should give up or it's tough, all that good stuff.
That's some great advice right there.
We always keep
Yeah.
Jimmy brings up the rear hard every time. He's just
Ranger!
like, lay down.
That
words.
hard rear.
All right. Well, so then, all right, we're gonna take one more step for the. This is something we ask just about everybody that comes on, which is the idea of sort of self-doubt or imposter syndrome or whatever the heck you want to call it. Like, comes up
Gotta
every
go.
time. Yeah, Michael's like, I'm out. No, right. Everybody that we talk to that's a creative, including all of us here, right, struggle with that artistic resistance and those challenges and all of that stuff. Like, we have a Kickstarter going, and it's terrifying every time. No matter how many times you do it, it's terrifying to put your work up, out, and present it to the world and say, hey, I made this. Is it any good? Like, it's terrifying, but you still got to do it. Do you have any advice for conquering that self-doubt, for facing that resistance, for overcoming that imposter syndrome, or not?
I'll let you know when I figure it out.
Please come back when you have the answer. We're looking for one-word answers. We'll take the...
Yeah, I think I still get this. Like, even this panel, like I've learned to kind of get better about it, but obviously, like, even this panel, two fabulous actor performers, people who do things in front of the camera, like, really awesome. But then sometimes I have to like take a step back, put it in perspective, like have it relative to where I was before. And so I think that's sometimes helpful. Like, I've been on Into the Motherlands, and that was a huge thing, and at the moment that just seemed bigger than life. It still does, but like I've done that, and like in the past 2-3 years, there's these little moments that you don't recognize you're doing while you're in it. Like, I just had this conversation with the producer in the back before everyone got on the call, and I'm like, looking at my calendar, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm doing that's not just my regular life. Like, I'm a computer science major, and like trying to like navigate through all that, you kind of have to give yourself, you have to give yourself roses as well. You have to put things in perspective, have it relative to you. And I think sometimes that's what's helpful for me. And then also, like, before we hopped on this call, I'm like, Becca, it's so awesome to work with you. Like, Jimmy, it's so awesome. Like, recognizing like that's also something I do to kind of like get myself like, all right, I got my nervous energy out of the way of like being around these people who are amazing, and then we can kind of get to doing what we're doing. So I'm being really meta about it today. So there you go. There's
That's awesome. Give yourself roses is that's a really great piece of advice to walk away with.
True.
Yeah, I think the biggest, like, when things started going well for me and snowballing was when I took an entire year and I gratitude journaled every day. I wrote 5 things I was grateful for, and it ended up really helping me push through a lot of imposter syndrome. And in the days when I have that coming back, I'm like, I'm not really recognizing the things that are good and that I have accomplished. And when you step back and allow yourself to just accept that you're doing great. Like it's hard being a human, and we all struggle. And I too was very nervous to come on this call because I'm like, I haven't gotten to play much Magic this month. I've been playing a bunch of role playing games. Oh wait, but I still am obsessed with Magic and thinking about it most of the time. So there's always that thing, but all you got to do is just do it. Just stop being afraid to do it. And when you show up, it's not going to be as scary as you thought when you looked at your calendar this morning and were like, oh, that's today.
So the gratitude journal, you write 5 things that you're grateful for.
Yeah,
gratitude to.
When I did it for a year, and I still do it like once a week now, it evolved. At first, it was like just things that like, I'm grateful for coffee. I'm grateful for my dog. I'm grateful for the sunshine. I have a house to live in. And like, then it evolved into things kind of like a positive affirmations of like, I'm doing great. I hung out with my friend last night and like, I get to be on a show tomorrow. And when you stop and you take a moment to acknowledge those things, this is the thing that's like in this book I'm reading about psychology, you're creating new neural pathways and you're teaching your brain to be less anxious when you're like, hey, it's cool. Like it's pretty good. And so reminding yourselves of that, those sorts of things, I think it seems unrelated, but it does really help me with imposter syndrome because the imposter syndrome comes from anxiety of like, I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be here. What am I doing here? And if you're like, wait, I am good. My life is good. This is fine. I don't need to stress about this. I get to be watching Twitch wherever you are right now. That's a privilege in itself. So be grateful. And now everything else is a little easier to deal with because you come from a place of like, no, stuff's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Gratitude journaling is really important.
Reprogramming your brain because we focus on the stress and the thing and the whatever. You're like, you constantly got those pathways. Give a moment to let the positive stuff like build those pathways up for a second.
Yeah, even if it's 3 seconds of acknowledging, Jimmy said something really cool and that made me feel good.
Oh,
he's been doing that a lot.
Or Michael too.
Stop it.
Do you have anything you want to throw on there? Nail the coffin?
I mean, gratitude's great. Everyone should look up neuroplasticity. So it's the idea that your brain has the ability to rewire itself and to adapt and change based on things that are happening. We do this all the time, right? Let's say you break up with someone, and every morning with that person you were with, you would wake up and get coffee together. Well, now that you're broken up with them, you're going to wake up, you're not going to get coffee with them anymore. You're quite literally rewiring your brain now to make a new pattern of something that's going to happen that time, that day, instead of with that person getting coffee. So we do this, at all different levels and stuff all the time. So it's a great way to help yourself reframe a situation. If you like have a toxic friendship or something, that's also a great way to look at it again and be like, hey, wait a minute, I don't have to, just because I'll use my mom, for example. My mom calls me and the moment she starts nagging about something, I start getting triggered. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to change the way I handle the situation so that I don't get triggered anymore. So when she starts calling me and that happens, I either just tell her like, oh, gotta go, and I hang up, even if I don't have to go. But it helps me basically stop going down that path. And so if you find yourself in like these ruts, it's a really good way to sort of help you refresh and like reframe things. Like draw a new 7, in Magic.
Nice.
Wait, bring it back around.
Take a long rest,
Your mom wanted me to tell you she loves you and to call her back.
Yeah. Good to know.
You're triggering him again. So one last one before we take questions from the audience and do our giveaway, which is, Michael, you were talking about, in your piece of advice, whether it was like making sure everything is inclusive or try and bring as many people, open up the doors and like bring people behind you and whatnot. So there's been gaming has a long history of gatekeeping and nonsense. What can we do as a community to keep improving in that area? Do you guys have any advice there on how we can keep making it a place where everybody should be able to sit down at the table and roll some dice or sling some spells or whatever?
I think for speaking into it, 2 things. One, I think when it comes to especially Magic, not so much D&D because D&D lends itself to it, try and find something that person's excited about. And I believe I heard Jimmy speak into this in one of the podcasts that he for game nights or Command Zone, of like, if there's something that someone likes exploring in Magic, like feed into that, let them go into that. If they like combo, they really like just like doing degenerate stuff and like figuring out how to like combo their cards, like do that. Don't be like, look at my sick new aggro deck. You know, you can kill them on turn 3. You know, they might not be interested in that. That might not be for them. It could be for later, but like always try and find what that person's into and kind of, you know, nourish that or go more into that. And I think that's like one of the best ways to do it. Like I said, D&D does that naturally because like someone knows like I want to be a barbarian or I want to be a wizard or XYZ. It's a lot easier to kind of have someone put themselves in a certain like class or certain personality or background when it comes to D&D. And the second, like how I get more people into the door is honestly spite. Like spite feeds me. Like when people like gatekeeping, people want to keep people out. That just feeds me, and I'm like, we got to get more people in. Like spite is the ultimate motivator, and I just want to see like gatekeeping nerds cry and say that my hobby's being taken by other like folks, and I'm like, sure, great, that's awesome, and thanks for feeding the machine. I'm gonna keep getting to work. So that's me.
That's great.
The spite machine.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
To keep our order going, I got a cat. He's really up to trouble.
Everybody's wondering what his name
He's,
is.
the cat's welcome. Everybody's
Oh, his
welcome
name
here.
is not appropriate for stream, but his name is Little Bastard.
Really?
I wonder why.
He's fine. He's a very nice cat. He is a cat though, so. I don't know how you keep gatekeepers out. Honestly, I think they are to be ignored. Like anybody that is into nerdy stuff and doesn't want more people into that stuff is beyond me. I cannot comprehend, and therefore I don't engage. I don't reply to comments. I don't. My answer is ignore it. Like, And what else? I was gonna say something super insightful, but this cat just got in my thoughts way. But yeah, I think that like obviously we all come from a place of inclusivity, from me being a woman person and you guys being dudes of color. Like we kind of by default have to be like, let's let more people into these hobbies that have primarily been white male spaces. And so like just our very presence is kind of a big FU to people that are trying to put up a gate. And so yeah, there's that. Gaming is for everyone.
Gaming is for
Yeah,
everyone.
you all covered it. That's pretty much it. Gaming is for everyone, and also like if someone's gatekeeping, they're doing it because they are. It's not like they're like confident and self-assured, and they're doing it because they are insecure about something, or they're doing it because they are afraid of something. So knowing that, I think, is really important, so that you at least approach them from a perspective that isn't like they're a villain. It's like, no, they're probably hurting somewhere else too, and they're probably doing this, lashing out in response to something. So I think that's always just good to keep in mind. It doesn't mean, accommodate their needs, but it also,
At least buy them a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
But I think having a better understanding of where they're coming from will allow you to not be as affected by it, because sometimes it's not even personal, right? It's not like they're specifically going after you. It's just this is a thing in general that they've been drawn to do, and for whatever reason. So understanding that might be a little easier for you to not have to get, so, I guess, hurt by it.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think that's why my default is do not engage. Like,
Yeah.
this person is looking for a fight because they think that is gonna satisfy them, and it's not for anyone. So let's just close Twitter right now.
For every one person someone tries to gatekeep, you can bring someone else in and overcome whatever they're trying to do, right?
Bring in fresh blood. Get in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
So let's do a giveaway and take some questions.
So we don't have a ton in the way of questions. We do have a hard out coming. So let's roll this giveaway and make sure
Is it
everybody
me?
gets where they
Is it
gotta
me?
go.
Is it- no.
Is it, did you
didn't-
type
I
in?
don't-
did
I'm
you
not
type
even on
in
the
Woober?
chat. I don't know how to.
There was one question earlier. Should Splinter Twin be unbanned and modern? And I said no. So there you go. There's your question. It is answered.
Done. You did.
All right, Grey Raven
Googling.
has won.
Grey Raven, congrats.
Perfect. Grey Raven, I'm gonna whisper you real quick. We just need to know your Kickstarter email so we can get you your credit. And then we're all good. I'm gonna whisper you right now, and then we'll be good.
Cool.
Awesome.
So what other questions do we have from the chat?
honestly hasn't been a lot. There's just been a lot of people kind of sharing appreciation and love for what you guys have been saying. People seem to have been having a very good time. All the questions were basically just what was the cat.
All right, well, how about this one? So let's say, Jimmy, Michael, and Becca, you're at Dwarven Forge. Are there any questions you would ever ask the people at Dwarven Forge?
Oh, another cat.
We can reverse the.
Here's my cat.
Oh, he's so fluffy.
what a good.
You're gonna ask one question.
Oh, he's a little tired.
Honestly, my question would be like, what do y'all got for free? Like, that would be my question.
Oh my god.
Honestly, though.
Is it weird if I screenshot this right now? This is bringing me
This is
joy.
incredible.
That's so cute. Love it.
Y'all got cats? That's what I would ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, this is a.
We've got like 30 cats between.
Everybody here has like. There's like
multiple
maybe
cats.
2 people on the team who don't have a cat.
Yeah, and they have
What do you think of
dogs
those
or
2
birds.
people?
Here's a fun question actually. RG Dice Boutique is wondering what everyone's first color combo deck was.
Ooh. I know this. Actually, it was Mardu. So yeah. Mardu was mine. So black, red, and white was my first deck I ever built after listening to Good Luck High Five, Maria and Megan. And,
Yay!
yeah, so that was my first deck I ever built in Magic for Standard.
I listen to Good Luck High Five every week, and I'm a patron, and I love
They're great.
that they bring comedy to Magic.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me happy.
What was your first deck, Becca?
Well, that is a question that can have many answers.
You don't have a deck, huh? You don't.
Well, I have only built one deck from scratch that is a commander deck, and I brought it to Commander Night recently, and it like I knocked out everyone at the table except one guy that killed me with like a Tron kind of deck. But it was just a bunch of it's a Linda the Dusk Rose and a bunch of vampire tokens, so it's an Orzhov deck, and I'm really proud of it and I really like it. And I was like, oh, wait, this deck actually worked. I should build more decks. And so I just need it to be Thanksgiving so I can have a whole week where I just like fill a suitcase with magic cards.
It's coming soon.
I know.
There we go.
The first deck I remember playing a lot on Arena in Standard was on a Johnny Pridemate mono white deck. I don't know. That's what I played.
What about you, Jimmy? What was your first deck ever?
It was a really crappy blue-black Drownu the Lich Lord deck. I just, for some reason, thought this was a cool card, and it is not. The card sucks for Commander. And so I changed that into Marchesa and added red in the Grixis deck. But I started with blue-black, which is not exactly my thing.
Nice.
But it was a start.
Well, We've got a hard out for some people in a minute or two, so why don't we go ahead and wrap up? I don't want to make anybody.
Oh, now the questions are coming. Right?
Yeah, now all the questions are coming in. But unfortunately,
just tweet me at Michael Kritz. That's how you can get more questions answered.
How do people find you guys on the internet?
I guess I was starting. Anyway, Michael Sinclair II. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Michael Kritz. You can check out all the TTRPG stuff I'm doing, or if I'm streaming Magic the Gathering. Good. Pass.
Pass the turn. You can find me at JFWONG on most every platform, and you can also look up the Command Zone podcast or Game Nights, Nights with a K.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love some game nights.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm Becca Scott. Find me at the Becca Scott. But right now, or rather 1 hour from now, we're going to be playing some D&D. I'm going to be in chat and running all the things. So you'll be there with me on twitch.tv/GoodTimeSociety for that D&D game I was mentioning earlier. Hope you come check it out. And find me, I already said, the Becca Scott.
The Becca Scott.
Nice.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out for an hour here, wandering around gaming, as it were. We are live with Reliquaries for another 11 days, Chris?
Yes.
11 days, something like that, till the 19th, next Friday, not this coming Friday. There's a link somewhere in chat, and we'll be back tomorrow with the Build Jam. This is a head-to-head competition. Toby versus Tyler. Toby is thrice undefeated, so he's coming in hard, but we have a surprise that you'll be able to spend your channel points to give him like debilitating debuffs. Like he'll have to like blindfold or wear gloves or Miles to be his hand.
God.
Yeah, we're gonna. Tyler is here, so he's very excited. So hopefully we'll see if Toby can be dethroned. Spend your channel points tomorrow, and then we're back with a doubleheader on Wednesday. We're streaming every day of the Kickstarter, so hopefully with some sort of content that you enjoy. But let's call it a night. We can get out of here.
Thanks for having us, Nate.
Yeah.
Thanks for having
Thank you
us.
guys again for coming on.
Good night, everybody. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much.
Pleasure.
See ya.
Thanks, friends.
Woo!